So this is not really that surprising. Let's be honest. T. Higgins has a hamstring injury, and he's not going to be playing this upcoming weekend versus Texans. According to Ian Rapoport, wide receiver T. Higgins, who did not participate in practice today after injuring his hamstring in practice yesterday, is expected to miss this Sunday's game versus the Texans. Sources said he'll be evaluated on a week-to-week basis going forward. Now, he wasn't placed on IR, and I'm not expecting him to be placed on IR. And as long as he's not placed on IR, then that means he'll literally could be back in a couple weeks, right? Does not mean he'll be out for IR means you have to be out at least for 4 weeks, okay? So the good thing is he's not placed on IR. The problem is, though, is we do play the Texans this weekend. And I've said before, it's very possible we would not have him and Jamar Chase this weekend. I was expecting more to have, T than Chase. I thought T was just like a hamstring, kind of pull something. But this might be more, more of an injury than we actually initially thought. Which, again, is another really big problem, Stats. We're going to have to wait and see how this ends up turning out. Because, as I said many times, hamstring injuries, hamstrings, ACLs, PCLs, MCLs, sometimes, yes, they can be contact injuries, but sometimes they're non-contact injuries. So, if it happened in practice and not the game, then it probably was a non-contact type of situation. And, those hamstring injuries, they never go away. They're always lingering. They're always poking their dumb head, I would say, out there and always, bothering you throughout the season. And it sucks, too, because it's like, we got to play, obviously, yes, like I said before, the Texans. I think we can beat the Texans without T. Higgins. Now, Jamar Chase is claiming that he thinks, he's in his head, he's playing. So, he's 100% ready to go out there and play, and he's excited to play. So, that's a positive, right? The positive is that as long as, our boy is playing, we're probably going to be good in that aspect. But for T. Higgins, moving forward, we play the Ravens the following week. Then we play the Steelers, which is another tough game. And I also hope that Jamar isn't forcing himself to play here just because T is out. Because obviously, yes, having both those receivers out is going to be detrimental to us. But at the same time, though, again, we have to keep in mind, I know it's crazy to say this, but we have to keep in mind that we're going for the long term here, right? We're going for the, Super Bowl. We're not going for the short term. Now, again, how will offense be productive without having these two guys in there? We're going to have to do what we did last week, which was, again, a lot of just using the tight ends more, right? Using Tanner Hudson, using Irv Smith, utilizing all these guys that we have in our arsenal outside of just Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Obviously those guys are amazing, right? But throughout the season so far, T has not had a good season. T hasn't been targeted. When he has been targeted, it's been really a mess. He's dropped a lot of catches. So, in the production value, the straight production value, I think we can kind of get through not having T, right? I think Jamar Chase is going to be the tough one because he has been the player who's been really stepping up and taking over and being that guy for us. So not having him too is going to change a lot of things. And it's also, again, a little bit of not even them, catching the football in all honesty. It's also them just being on the field as a presence to the defense. It makes the defense have to be honest, stay honest throughout the game because they have to cover over top. They can't stack the box. They can't play underneath because they know as long as we have T out there, as long as we have, Chase out there, we could go deep at any play and open up the field. So, in all honesty, now with Chuck Sizzle coming back, it's probably the perfect time right now for Chuck Sizzle to come back. We're going to have to see, we might potentially against Texans here and the Ravens too. We're going to have Yoshi on the outside with, Chuck Sizzle on one side, Yoshi on the other side, and the slot's probably going to be, Tyler Boyd. And then we have Trent Irwin in there, and we're probably, maybe we pick up another receiver, elevate another receiver, probably bring back Kwame. It's going to be tough, right? It's going to be tough moving forward. And for an offense, I feel like we just got our strides last week and really got going last week. It sucks to have, a double shot here of, bang, bang, and now, bam, we are without our stars, right? But again, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this is football, and it's about how you adapt through adversity. And so far this season, we have shown every time we have dealt with adversity, we've been able to overcome it very easily. And again, like I said, it is what it is. It sucks though. It does suck because at the end of the day, this offense is going to struggle. It's going to struggle. But we're going to have to just keep this same game plan. It's going to be short passes, quick cross the middle, run the ball, that kind of stuff. I showed in the graphic earlier today, but we have ran the ball the least amount of times of any NFL team this year. We had the least rushing attempts of any NFL team this year. That's concerning, right? So we're going to have to do that. Play good defense. Now, again, the good positive thing here is T is not on IR. He's probably not going to be, most likely not going to be placed on IR. And as long as he's not placed on IR, that means that he's going to be back sometime within the next couple weeks, and that's good, right? So at the end of the day, we do have positives there. If they felt like this was a long-term injury, they put him on IR, right, for those 4-week period. But they're most likely not going to be doing that because, again, I think he will be back within 4 weeks, and it will be fine. But again, as long as Jamar Chase does play on Sunday, I'm not really that concerned. Now, the next question is, right, is going to be, should we pick up a wide receiver off free agency? And the reason why I say no, and I think the reason why they would say no, is because of the fact we're getting, Chuck Sizzle back, and he is that guy we drafted in the 4th round to become the replacement for Tyler Boyd. So we're probably going to try to see what we can get out of him. I know, for example, Kenny Golladay is available. Marv Jones. Julio Jones got actually signed. Jalen Reagor. Jarvis Landry is available. I mean, Jarvis Landry would not be the worst player in the world to get. I mean, for a couple of games, but you'd have to work out the idea with him that, listen, you're not here for foreseeable future. You're going to come in for a couple of games and, play in T. Higgins' absence, and that's pretty much it. I don't know if he would go for that, but because I feel like if he would sign, he would want to sign and, be on the squad for the whole year. So it would be interesting. But Jarvis Landry is a great veteran receiver who does have some knowledge of running underneath and getting open and making some good plays. But other than that, man, I mean, there's no one else I see on free agency that I'm like, yeah, that guy could be good for us. Not when you look at the potential. And I think that's what we really have to also look at. And what I think the Bengals look at a lot is the potential of the players, right? So, for example, is anyone in free agency, do they have more potential for us when we put them in that game than Yoshi does? Probably not. Yoshi has through the roof potential. We don't know what he could do, what he won't do, what he, we don't know his potential, right? He has endless potential. Same thing with Chuck Sizzle. Same thing with a couple of these guys. So that's also a kind of factor they go into. But it is what it is on T, man. Won't play this weekend. We'll see what he does in the future. Peace out.